Hello and welcome to another ever compelling episode of Millionaire's Mind. Look, as always, I do like to start with a quote, and today's quote is by Greg Gilbert, and he says, "The worst financial transaction you will ever make is selling yourself short." So today's discussion will be centered around, selling yourself. And what does that really mean? Putting everything that you can do on paper or in visual to impress those who you want to work with and ensure that you communicate in the best way possible the skills and the strengths that you have. And so I'm your host, Lucy Riley. And of course, as always, you can interact with us on all social media platforms, and especially on Twitter, that's at EbruTVKE, or myself, that's at Lucy_Riley. Now, I am joined today by an entrepreneur who has an inspiring story, and his name is Jairus Walemba. I'll allow him to just briefly talk to us about, the space that you're in, and especially what inspired you to start tapping into the potential of young people and showing them how they can present and represent themselves better.
Yeah, my name is Jairus Walemba. I used to work as a receiving clerk in one of the retail stores, and I lost my job because on medical grounds I was epileptic, and I couldn't perform as the company would expect. So after I lost my job, I took 1 month off from work and decided just to think about what I'll do in my life. So I got the opportunity to, after thinking, because I had done HR as a course in school, I decided that why not give back to the society through HR. So during the 1 month off from work, I felt the pity the job seekers feel because it was so tough for me. So I decided that because by then I had some groups where I used to post jobs on daily basis, and I could also link up job seekers with the HR professionals or the hiring managers. And most of the job seekers could ask me that they needed the services of CVs. So I decided, why not do it for them? So that is when the idea came up, and I decided I did a poster, told them now I want to do CVs. I'm doing CVs and I'm charging 500 a CV and a cover letter. So basically that was a start for the two services were going for 500, which was the lowest rate in the market by then, and because I was also learning, had not mastered the subject very well. So that is basically how JCV started.
And what was your startup capital? You've talked about how much money you were charging, and so we have an idea of how much you would make at the time. But did you need to have any money to start in that business space?
I didn't use any capital to start. What happened? I didn't have any skills in computer applications. I just got a laptop from a friend. I borrowed a laptop from a friend. Even though the laptop could not access internet, I could use my phone to get information online, then use a USB cable to transfer the information to the laptop. So I didn't use any money to start the business. So I used to work just from home. I used to work from home, and I could send the CVs to the clients from home. So in the first week, I think I got about 2 CVs, and I was able to manage. So for the first 1 month, I think I worked with the laptop that could not access the internet. So I could use my phone to get the information, then transfer. So until after 2 months is when I got a new laptop.
That's very interesting. Actually, just listening to you right now, someone who is at home and perhaps even transitioning from campus or just finished with their O-levels or secondary, they can already be thinking about ideas along the same path and say, you know what, I too can start from zero, just like you did, and perhaps grow. So what gets you thinking that this is a millionaire's mind? Why is this particular idea a millionaire mind to you?
Yeah, sure. This is a millionaire's mind because since I started, when I started this, I didn't know that it could sustain me in Nairobi to manage to pay bills and make me live comfortably. I wasn't very sure because When I started, I really wanted, should I go back to employment? But then I tried going back to employment at one point, but I was rejected because I had a convulsion. Still, the epileptic episode happened. So I was rejected again. So this gave me now more energy to focus on my business. So I used now, I strategized on my marketing skills, which was basically centered on Facebook, social media platforms basically. And because I had platforms on WhatsApp, I decided to use that also to my best. I gave them an offer so that I wanted to test if this business was viable for me. I gave them an offer that was in January of 2019. And in one day, I managed to make 15,000. So from the 15K, I knew now I will be able to survive in Nairobi. So through that, I used now to study the market and increase my rates slowly by slowly. So until I started with 500, but at the moment I'm charging up to 3,500. So I think I'm headed in the right direction. And the minimum I'm charging now is 1,000 bob. In a few days to come, I'll be charging about 2,000 for the minimum, because I know the value of a good CV, and I think people also know the value of a good CV. And with the current recruitment taking place, there are so many things that people do not know about recruitment. And most will complain that I've applied for so many jobs, I've never gotten feedback. I've applied for so many jobs, recruiters are not calling me. Most people give up, not knowing what is happening.
What exactly do employers look for in a winning CV?
Now, being a HR practitioner and being a CV writer, employers will look for, there are keywords that we look for in a CV that should be based on the job description. So most companies, developed companies, are using a system called ATS. The ATS machine picks keywords from the system, from your CV. So those keywords, if they're not in your CV will not reach a human being. Your CV will be saved by a machine, and it will not reach a human being. So the percentage of you, the probability of you being shortlisted for that position would be too low. So what basically inspired me to start this business was that most people do not understand about ATS. They do normal applications. Most of us we use CVs that you are taught in primary. I think, was it primary or high school? The date of birth, marital status, religion, ID number, which are very relevant to the CV, to the employer. So a good CV should be so precise and up to the point. It should contain the key skills that the employer is looking for. So those key skills are what basically makes JCVs stand out.
You've talked about the system that regulates and just generally checks for certain words, maybe 3 or 4 key words that you can just throw out there to let your audience know that these are some of the words that, if you put them in your CV, they might actually give you a better chance.
Now, this will basically depend on your position. If you are going to, let's say, for a customer service position, you should have keywords like, on the key skills, you should have keywords like complaint handling, problem solving. You should have keywords like communication skills, customer service, phone etiquette. So those are the keywords that are expected to be checked from by the system for a customer service position. Assuming it's a HR officer position, you should have keywords like recruitment, selection, training and development, things to do with performance management, employee relations, staff welfare. So every position has its specific keywords, and these keywords are mostly picked from the JD. So if a position is advertised, you have to go through the JD, and most of the time we advise that you have to customize your CV to fit that JD for a specific job. Unless you are in one role, let's say you are in HR, you are only applying for HR roles, you can use the same CV. But if you are in sales, you studied HR, you are in sales, you worked also in customer service, you have also ways to customize the CV to fit the job.
All right, we are in very different and unique times right now, with the COVID-19 pandemic affecting many businesses, and employers generally are even cutting back on employment opportunities and their staff generally. So why should someone be considering polishing their CV? Is it important, and more or less now opting for the services of a person who can potentially get them that employment?
Now, what is happening now? Employers, most people have been laid off. The job market is we have so many people who are jobless, and what is happening is that most people have been laid off. Let's say someone was being paid 100,000. Employers are replacing them with people who can earn 30,000. So still the CV service is still critical at this point. Employers are still employing, but now the problem now is the salary. So if you accept pay cuts, then definitely you need our services.
All right, then. You have talked about a system, but now has the way changed generally in how CVs or an individual sells themselves? I mean, other than just writing on a piece of paper, for example, would you say that things are a bit more digital, maybe visual, perhaps even audio related? I mean, and also does it depend on the type of job you're going for? How different has, presenting and selling yourself changed over time?
Now, when it comes to CVs and job seeking, basically a CV is just one part of the marketing strategy. The other thing that you need to do is you be keen with work on your social media platforms. Specifically, like for me, I will advise someone who is looking for a job to be so intentional on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is very much, what can I say? LinkedIn is very much, it's more influencing when it comes to job search. Social media platforms are very powerful when it comes to job search, especially LinkedIn. You create posts that are compelling on daily basis, depending on your profession. Let's say for me, as JCVs, we do post on daily basis. You can, if you follow us, you'll see our post. We do post on our success stories. We do post on encouragements. We do post on a job search. We do post on job advertisements. So it's something that as much as you have a good CV, make sure your presence on social media platform is compelling, and not just LinkedIn. You can also work on your Facebook pages. Facebook. You can also work on Instagram. You can also work on Twitter. But make sure you are doing something that will sell you, because nowadays employers are looking at, when they are doing reference checks, they are looking at the social media platforms, and social media platforms will either sell you or spoil you your job search.
I really like what you're saying on nowadays, employers are actually going to your social media platform to get to know the kind of person that you are. Yeah. And something just came to mind that somebody whom I had known was speaking negatively about a company perhaps they were working for, and yet they are someone who is perhaps seeking to work somewhere else. So does that even hinder your chances, of course?
Yeah,
when
sure.
Yeah,
they hinder your chances. Yeah. You don't have to badmouth your former employer. In any case, you have to talk about the positive side of your former employer, because automatically, if I'm going to be a current employer, at some point I'll be a former employer, or you might leave.
Right.
So meaning the same thing you are doing to us, you'll do it. You are doing to another company, you'll do the same to us.
Right.
So you have to be so keen with that.
Right.
Yeah.
And so people have to be aware. So then how do you raise your value or your perceived value for your next employer? Because they have to really believe that you are truly bringing in value to the place that you're going to be working.
Now, this will come in handy when it comes to, now, during an interview, you can talk about, you can bring about the achievements you've had in your previous role that are related to the role you're going for. And basically, if this it will also be dependent on your role. If let's say you are a person in dealing with things to do with social work or advocacy, you have to talk about it in length. Maybe you have a page that you are doing your advocacy. You can start volunteering, and in such instances, you have a page that you are you are managing on social media, or you talk about achievement that have helped a company save costs or save money,
right,
or time.
I like that, because sometimes you don't have the experience, especially for young people.
Yeah.
And so you've talked about something very important, that's volunteering,
Yeah.
or doing something on social media.
Yeah.
There's this one dreaded question that comes up every single time people go for interviews, and perhaps you can guide people on how they can answer that question, which is, what are your expectations from us? You know, your employer is asking you, the potential employee, what your expectations are, even in terms of salary. Some people don't know how to answer that question. What should they say?
And now that is a tough question, especially to job seekers. So when you are invited for an interview in an organization, you have to do enough research about the organization, what they are paying, and sometimes most employers will not disclose the information about the salary. You'll find out other adverts requesting you as a job seeker to disclose the salary you need, you expect to get from them. So as an individual, you have to consider yourself. Are you working? That is one question you should ask yourself. Am I working? If you are working, should I leave my job for this job? If I'm to leave, I'm getting 30,000. Should I leave for the same 30,000, or I should leave for something much higher? If I'm not working, I need experience. Should I leave? Should I join this company? They're paying little though, or I can ask for little money to gain experience. Another thing will be, you need to consider, is my current job a good, is the environment good? You know, there are jobs that people are in bad environments, and they really need just change. Wanataka tu watoke pale, they get somewhere else where they can be comfortable. They'll not consider the salary. So those are the questions that someone must consider before moving. And another one that is affecting so many people is, you've done HR at school, you've been working in customer service, or you've been working as a salesperson. Now there's an opening for a HR position, and in customer service you are earning, let's say, 100K. The HR position, maybe you just need to get into HR. They are paying you 30K. So you have to consider so many things. But expectations in terms of salary will always come, will always be considered in that line. I'm earning 100K now. I cannot move. You know, now as an individual you have your value. You umesema kwamba mimi siwezi toka hapa kama sitapata 30% on top of what I'm earning. No. So that is what makes you move. So if the company, kama una experience, you can ask for something that can help you manage your bills and maybe get something small to save.
That's very important, because a lot of young people are transitioning, and perhaps they have the high hopes of getting 6 figures and above,
Yeah.
even when they really don't have experience or enough exposure. And so that's a very key topic that, of course, needs to be exhausted. But unfortunately, our time is running out.
Yeah.
Perhaps the final question in less than 2 minutes, if you can answer. How often should one be following up once they have perhaps already sent in their CVs? You know, should it be after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or if they never call you back, then you should give up as well and not follow up?
In terms of job applications, so if you send a job application and you don't have to follow the employer, you only have to follow the employer after the interview. If you don't have to follow the employer after you send an application, the only thing you need to follow up is after the interview. That's when you are told, like, we'll get back to you in 2 weeks, we'll get back to you in 1 week. So after the 1 week elapses, you can make a follow-up.
Excellent. And then finally, 30 seconds, what is a major challenge you have faced in this business where, you know, you are helping other people to, you know, sell themselves on a piece of paper or whatever method, and you have to get the customer because it is a business that you're running. So what is a major challenge? Maybe 2 major challenges, and how have you overcome them?
Basically, at some point I had someone copy my poster. They edited my poster and changed the details on the poster, the email address and the number. Then it was reported by a client who asked me if I have someone else working on my behalf. Then another challenge is most people still do not understand the importance of a good CV. So that still needs to be addressed, kabisa.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we're about to take a short break. We are taking a short break. I'd like you to actually take us on a short break as a change, just say that we're going for a short break, and when we come back, we'll have a lot more in store for you. And even as you take that short break, sell yourself. That's almost the first question that always people are asked in an interview scenario, right?
Yeah.
Tell us who you are, tell us about yourself, or even who is, let's say, yourself, Jarius, in the very simplest way. And someone might think that it's a very useless question, but really that's already, you're in the interview and you're already being asked the first question. Is there a specific way to answer that question?
Yeah, we have a specific way to answer the same question.
And how would that be?
My name is Ajay Walemba. I'm a CV specialist working for JCVs. As a CV specialist, I'm involved in ensuring that clients' work is done on time and delivered on time, ensuring understanding the client needs and the job requirements, and basing them on the current recruitment standards. And then I'm a team player, I'm self-driven, and ensure a client comes first.
Fantastic, short and sweet. Now please do take us on a break. That right there is your camera. We're taking a break and we'll be right back.
We are taking a break and we'll be right back. There's more in store for you.
Welcome back. Now it's time for another exciting segment, which is Quickfire, and our guest, that's Jarius Walemba, will be answering a couple of questions in the shortest time possible. Do you promise me to have fun with this?
Yeah, sure.
Perfect. So let's go. What is white and black but red all over?
Book.
Oh, you're really close. The correct answer is newspaper.
Yeah.
Oh, well done then. But still, that's not the right answer. Next question. What becomes wetter the more it dries? Any idea? 3, 2, 1.
Towel.
Oh, well done. Congratulations. Clapping our hands. Well done. The correct answer is towel. Next question. What goes up and down but never moves?
Stairs.
Oh, well done. Well done. Did you have leakage?
No.
All right. Next question. Which nail does a carpenter try to miss?
The
Yes, that's the right answer. But what is it called? Fingernail. Oh, well done. Final question. How many animals did Moses take into the ark?
2.
Oh, incorrect. None, because it was Noah who built and loaded the ark. How was the experience for you?
It was amazing.
Yeah?
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us. And of course, thank you, my dearest viewer, for joining us and watching throughout the entire episode. Of course, my guest has been Jarius Walemba, and I've been your host, Lucy Riley. Until next week, same time, same place, 7:30 to 8 p.m. every Tuesday night. You can catch this show on YouTube. That's at Ebru TV KE. And until next time, have yourself a beautiful night.